crew will need to be protected from those rays as we enter into future Artemis missions. On our future missions, we talked about the protection, we talked about space radiation. Is there anything left that we didn't talk about that would be relevant to what we're learning about space radiation on this mission or even future missions that are planned?
On this mission in particular, I really just want to give a huge shout out to our operational team, the Space Radiation Analysis Group, because they have worked so hard on getting their detectors up to speed, and they're really starting to see their models play out. You know, they saw when Orion went behind the moon and came back out, and we finally got that signal again. Sure enough, there was a 30% drop because of the moon itself providing shielding to the capsule. And so just a really huge shout out to that team, because they have done an amazing work. They're working 24-hour console to support this mission, and they really deserve mad props.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Robin, for coming and joining us here today, telling us a little bit about the deep space radiation environment and why it's important to the Artemis missions overall.
Thank you so much, Shaniqua. Happy to be here.
Thank you. And if you just joined us, you're watching live coverage of the Artemis I mission. Today, we're on day 16 of the 25-and-a-half-day mission. We are currently awaiting the DRD, or the distant retrograde departure burn. And we're looking for that burn to happen at 3:53 and 56 seconds p.m. Central Time, 4:53 and 56 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. So about 4.5 minutes out now from that burn. If you're just joining us, we're live inside the White Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center. We are awaiting the departure burn. That's the distant retrograde orbit departure burn for Orion. You're currently seeing live views from Orion spacecraft as it prepares for just a minute and a half from now to do that burn. And just about 10 seconds away from that burn beginning. The burn has begun. And we're halfway through the burn. And we currently see a little Earth behind slash beside one of the Orion solar arrays coming into view and out of view as this burn continues. And a nominal burn has been called in the room. And with a nominal distant retrograde orbit departure burn, Orion will leave its distant retrograde orbit, preparing Orion for a second lunar flyby, that return powered flyby burn that we discussed earlier, an Earth insertion burn, and finally preparation for re-entry and splashdown planned for December 11th. Again, Orion has had a nominal 1 minute and 45-second distant retrograde orbit departure burn. And with that, we'll wrap coverage for today. But we'll be covering the RPF, or the Return Power Flyby Burn, live on air on Monday, December 5th. Again, that will be aired at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And again, that is on December the 5th. Before we air that December 5th Return Power Flyby for Orion, be sure to check out live coverage of the U.S. EVA on December the 3rd. Showtime beginning at 5 a.m. Central Time, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Our live views from Orion have gone. Briefly, we are currently looking at the Aero Tracker. You can track Artemis and you can track Orion on www.nasa.gov/track Artemis. Again, this is the Aero Tracker giving you the velocity, the distance from Earth, and the distance from the moon for Orion in real time. Again, we had a nominal distant retrograde orbit departure burn. Orion will leave its distant retrograde orbit, preparing Orion for a second lunar flyby, an Earth insertion burn, and finally preparation for re-entry and splashdown planned for December 11th. That'll end our coverage there. However, we'll be covering the RPF burn live on air on Monday, December 5th, beginning at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And before that burn coverage, we also have live on air Saturday, December 3rd, the U.S. Spacewalk 82, and that will start at 5 a.m. Central Time, 6 a.m. Eastern Time.